Producers, rappers, any music maker out there understand this for a fact. And I just got off a conversation with Illmind, and I brought this up. This is a serious problem. Distributors pay out master royalties. And unfortunately, most distributors don't allow this royalty to be automatically split among the creators of that project, that album, that single, whatever it is. So a lot of you aren't making a cent off of music that you created. Let me explain why this is important and how it works. All right, number one, a lot of people think there's such thing as a streaming royalty. There's no such thing as a streaming royalty. There's no single royalty that's called a streaming royalty out there. See, most people believe when a song gets played on Spotify, it generates something called a streaming royalty, and then my distributor, like a DistroKid or a TuneCore or a BeatStars, pays me a streaming royalty. That's not how it works. Every stream pays out different royalties. That includes performance royalties, mechanical royalties, sound exchange royalties, and most importantly, master royalties. And it depends on the platform. It depends on a lot of different factors. For example, a non-interactive play will pay the sound exchange royalty, something like Pandora. The point is, it's complicated, but what I want to focus on today is how you get master royalties. Master royalties are important because they account for over half of the value of a stream. So let me break this down. So we hear how little a stream is worth all the time, right? A lot of people are really fatalistic about it. You can't make any money off of streams. A lot of people are making good money off of streams. But a single stream is still worth a fraction of a cent. That means that a fraction of a cent is being broken down into all of these different royalties. And the biggest piece of that fraction of a cent goes to whoever owns the master. Now, in situations when an artist is signed to a label, usually the label owns the master. But what about in most cases when a singer or rapper is unsigned? Well, that money just goes right to them, to whoever uploaded the song or album to their distributor. The master royalties almost never get shared. They just get paid to whoever uploaded the song, and that's that. Producers, have you ever had an unsigned rapper or singer email you and say, hey, I just got my royalty statement from my distributor. I owe you your cut. I calculated it all in my spreadsheet. What's your PayPal? Probably not, because most of us don't even understand this, and even fewer of us want to or even know how to account for these royalty splits and payouts. It's a lot to ask of an artist who's just struggling to get their careers off the ground. So say you're a producer and you're working with a rapper, right? You give that rapper free beats because you're partnering on the project. You expect to share in the master ownership and master royalties, right? I mean, that's fair. Or let's say you lease a beat to a rapper or singer, right? You didn't sell them the master rights, you just license it to them non-exclusively. So you should get some percentage of the master royalties, whether it's 5, 10, 20, 30%. Some artists split down the middle even when they pay for the beat lease. It really depends on the situation. And that leads us to the problem that I mentioned earlier. Most of these distributors don't allow the masters to be split. I don't know why. I don't. And this is why years ago I signed up for DistroKid. It was because I was producing a project for an unsigned artist, and that project generated a few thousand in master royalties. And the artist's name is J-Tech, and I do want to make another project with him, so I hope he's watching this. Anyway, he didn't have to do any accounting. He didn't have to calculate my royalties and then go out of his way to pay me. It was all automatic through DistroKid. That's why I even upgraded my membership, though I learned that collaborators can get an account for something like $10. That's if they're added to a team, which I'll explain in a minute. Now, let me tell you something crazy. I work very closely with an artist whose projects I produce the majority of. He signed a deal with a big independent label, but that label didn't handle any paperwork with me or anything. That's another conversation. Well, the songs got a lot of streams and I didn't get paid a cent. The second he left the label and started uploading songs to DistroKid and actually giving me my master split, I started generating money almost instantly. It's easy to collect these royalties through DistroKid. They're just called teams. You get emailed a code from the artist adding you to the team. You just copy and paste that code into your Teams tab on DistroKid and you're automatically added. And as you can see, I'm a member of a lot of different teams, which means I'm getting a split on the master royalties on all of these different songs you see listed here. So let me show you how easy it is to use teams if you're the person who's adding people to a team. So I just created a collaborative instrumental album with Dream Life. So I just finished uploading it. It's going to go to all the platforms through DistroKid, but because it's a collaborative project with Dream Life, he deserves his split, which in this case is 50-50. So right now I'm getting 100%, which is wrong. So I just click on Edit Team, and each individual title allows me to add team members. And so on each one, it's going to be 50% him and 50% me. And all I have to do is enter his information in. I just need his email address. And once I put that email address in once, it's in the system. So I can just add him automatically to each subsequent song. Give him his 50%. And I just have to do that for the entire project. And I'm completely done. He's added. And that means anytime any kind of master royalties are generated from, stream or a sale, he's getting 50%. I don't have to account for anything. I don't have to calculate it. I don't have to do any math, which I love because I'm not strong as a mathematician. And I don't have to worry about it. It just goes straight into his DistroKid bank. I was showing you the bank earlier where I was checking out my earnings for each individual song or project that I was a member of the team of. This just goes into his bank the same way. So really understand this. In the age of streaming, the master royalty is really what matters. The person to whom the master royalties are getting paid is getting the majority of what the stream is generating. And if you were a part of that process, you want to be cut in. Now, the easiest way to do that is to use a distributor like DistroKid that allows for these automatic splits to be paid out. It's easy, you don't have to think about it. And if you're collaborating with people that you don't necessarily know and that may not be all that organized, it's absolutely necessary to use a service like this, a distributor like this. And with DistroKid, you can add unlimited collaborators on any track. You can change the splits at any time. You can add or remove collaborators at any time. You can go back in time and see previous splits. And if you're collaborating with someone that doesn't already have a DistroKid account, they can create one for just $10. And let's say you created a project with somebody and they don't have a DistroKid account yet. Just put their email address in as a collaborator and DistroKid will hold that money for them until they decide to sign up. The music business has changed quite a bit. I think people are still catching up to the current state of the music business, especially producers, especially unsigned artists. And unfortunately, a lot of the technology, a lot of the labels, a lot of the distributors haven't caught up to the internet yet. And the more you learn about the business and the more you understand how convoluted it can be, the more you see how problematic a lot of these existing systems are. And so this whole automatic splitting system of master royalties is a huge weight off of my shoulders. So if this interests you, if you're not already signed up to a distributor that offers these kinds of automatic splits, down below I have a link to sign up to DistroKid. You get a discount. And for me, it made my life easier. It paid for itself, times 100. And the name of the game in the music business is ownership. And so this is just one more tool to add another revenue stream to your overall portfolio as a creator and to make sure that you're getting compensated for all of your hard work as a creative as well. Much success to you along the way as you work on refining your process and move forward on your journey. Peace.